but you got the green there. You can level it all out green. Oh my lord.
I think he's doing the thing.
Welcome home, Rep Pack. Marcus here, and welcome to Comfort Cartoons, the show where I collect absolutely everything from the late 90s, 2000s, all the way to the modern day. And we're also trying to create the world's biggest SpongeBob and the world's biggest Nickelodeon collection. And the creator of this channel is usually a friend most of the times, but at some points she can be a foe. But I hope you guys are having an amazing day, and if you guys aren't, you know the drill. Friend or foe, camera flip.
Maybe stand on the tile in front of you.
What I was saying was...
It's about to get a whole lot brighter, Rep Pack, because your boy is here. And today is gonna be so much fun because me and Mitchell have the Friend or Foe episode on. We just got done watching it. You see Patchy's paws right there. We got done watching it because today is the start of a brand new series, and that is gonna be going through every SpongeBob special and the toys that go with them in one playlist. So we're gonna be starting this today. If you guys are not familiar, on this channel, we've opened up meal toys from different series before. What we're gonna attempt to do is create an entire playlist with every SpongeBob, or maybe even Nickelodeon at some point, meal toy on this channel. Today, we're gonna be starting with what I introed us up with a Friend or Foe. An iconic episode, but this is from season 5. So we are gonna go way back to the first ever toys released, and we're gonna try and find those. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. We're gonna be doing them based off whatever set I can get next, but eventually we're gonna try to catalog all of them on this channel. So we're gonna start with Friend or Foe today, and we're gonna go through the episode while also opening up the awesome toys they released at Burger King in this case. And you may recognize some of these toys from a video that I did on ADHD's Life many years ago. And we've opened up some of these SpongeBob toys over there, but that was before Comfort Cartoons was ever even a thing. And because of that, I feel like we should document those on this channel, and not just that, I think I can do a way better job covering all the different products that we actually showed in that video, because not only do I know way more about SpongeBob, but also as a content creator, I feel like I've gotten a lot better at displaying the product and also giving you guys as much information as possible. And we could really go deep into that lore because there is a lot of stuff in this episode that is very interesting to me. So we're gonna get into it with our first Friend or Foe toy here. And also, I say we should go ahead and start us off with the Friend or Foe intro.
We take you now to Encino, California, where we find the president of the SpongeBob SquarePants fan club flipping burgers.
Okay, so we're gonna start off with our first figure here, but we are gonna be talking about the episode Friend or Foes while we do this. So if you guys have not seen Friend or Foes, I definitely recommend you guys go check that episode out. But if you haven't, we're gonna be filling in everything that happens in the episode along the way. So it starts off with Patchy, our main man, Patchy the Pirate, aka #1 SpongeBob fan collector, besides your boy. But he and Potty end up in a similar situation that we're gonna see later on in the actual episode. And Patchy happens to work at a restaurant called the Poop Deck.
That sounds so
You can't say that. Food does sound very Shell City though. So he works at the Poop Deck, but he also happens to be working under the manager, who is also our main man, Bill Fingerbocke, who voices Patrick, which is so funny because in Truth or Square, they have Roger Bumpus featured in the start with Patchy. So you'll see many characters featured in with Patchy, even one at the end of the show here that we're gonna reference right now, and that is Jill Tilly. You can see her actually puking in a doggy bag at the end of the episode too, and that's actually our man Tom Kenny's wife. And if you know who Tom Kenny is, he's the one who plays Patchy. The episode makes it feel like such a homegrown episode with everybody involved in the show playing a character or a role in it. But Patchy and Potty end up disagreeing though on the burgers. I'm gonna show you all 3 of the burgers Patchy made, and you guys let me know in the comments what would be your favorite. And also, Mitchell, you're gonna let me know your favorite. I'll let you know my favorite. But let's go ahead and check out our first piece here. And this is Friend or Foe. And the first item we have here was released at Burger King to promote this particular episode we're going over today. And that is the Cube Sponge. So this is from 2006. And I love this dude, just for the display factor. He is so cool looking.
Yeah, it's really clean too. It's just a perfect cube.
Yeah, and they did get all of his sponge spots normal. Oh, and I look at the bottom here and I can see there's a little lens. So from what I remember, there should be a magic 8-ball effect. Does it say anything there now?
It just look like a butthole. I don't know.
A butthole? You can't say, can you say that? I don't know if you can say that. But it's actually a magic 8-ball. So if you guys are like me, you probably thought you used to shake a magic 8-ball, but turns out I've learned that many times in this channel, you don't shake it because bubbles will come up and you won't be able to see it. So let's see what it says here. It says the water is murky. So I mean, that would be, I guess, not looking so good. Either that or they need to flush the toilet. But let's go ahead and shake this guy up.
I thought we just said not to shake.
Oh, well, we'll shake it in a second here. So what was your favorite burger that Patchy showed? You had the treasure chest burger. You had second being walk the plank burger. Third being the Patchy burger itself. I gotta say, well, I'll tell you which I'm going with. What are you going with?
I gotta go with the walk the plank burger.
The walk the plank burger? That's suicide. I am gonna go with with the Patchy Burger. I mean, it's his own branded thing. Whenever ever has a restaurant named a product after themselves and it not been good. Never.
Yeah, but you want all that hair in there? Look like you just took it right off your face.
Yes, I do, absolutely. Yes, that's what I'm working on here, okay? Is my own Patchy Burger on my face.
All right, you know what? I'm out of here, all right?
What?
I'm out of here. I'm gonna walk my own plank. I'm out.
Oh, you can't do that. That's what happened in the episode. We can't recreate the exact same thing. That's 3-on-3 because they do it in the episode, and then the episode itself happens. And then if we do it, that's too many friends or foes. So get back down. You're a friend, no foe. But let's see. Is the Patchy Burger the best burger on the menu? It says, oh, barnacles.
No.
Oh, you're right. There was an exclamation point there before the no. I guess you're right then. I guess we'll go with the walk the plank burger. So this is our first toy, and I gotta say I love it. This thing is gonna go so cool on display back here somewhere. I don't know if we're gonna keep every meal toy from this series in the background because it's kind of like Funko Pops where it'll just dominate the whole background if we keep every single one. This is one I feel like would be good for making decisions. But after this in the episode, Potty pretty much tells Patchy that he doesn't like any of those ideas for his burgers. And that actually starts a separation between Potty and Tom Kenny, or Patchy in this case, which creates a division in their friendship all about the burgers basically, and them not agreeing on what should be the new secret recipe for the poop deck. So after that, we get our title card, which pops up right here. And then after that, we intro in, like many SpongeBob classic episodes, with the Krusty Krab. We get the theming, all that stuff, only to have a cart roll into the room with a happy birthday cake that was delivered by Plankton. And I think this figure that I pulled out next is gonna be perfect because in the episode, Plankton comes out from under the cake and actually releases balloons throughout the restaurant that then pop and the glitter gets on everybody's eyes. That is one of the most terrifying thoughts ever. Can you imagine glitter being in your eyes, seeing all these reflected particles on your actual eyelid?
You'd never get those out. They'd be there for weeks.
Oh God. It's like getting your eyes bedazzled.
Don't be dull, be dazzling. Dazzle with a Bedazzler.
But the only time I've ever had a situation like that with me was one time I had one of those doggy pads, you know, the ones that absorb pee.
Yeah.
I tried to whip that thing out to expand it for Daisy, you know, our CEO, and the actual panel bursted and some of that like crystallizing absorbent gel went in my eyes. My eyes were literally like SpongeBob's that scene. They shriveled down to like a fifth of their size. This guy's perfect though, because our second figure is actually, it looks like an eye pop out SpongeBob here. I gotta say that model is so clean. Push his eyes in there and he squeezes his legs and boom, it pops out his eyes. But that's pretty amazing because we've had so many different clips of SpongeBob ejecting his eyes.
I'm not taking my eyes off you.
It's just kind of a thing SpongeBob does. A lot of these toys don't really have that much references to the actual episode, but this one does kind of have, you know, eye-related stuff going on here. But what I do love is on the rope here, it's almost like a sailor rope here onto an actual hook.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it has total, you know, Bikini Bottom vibes. A little detail they did not have to add, and they definitely would not add these days. So for 2006, shout out to them. An amazing job. And if you just look at that comparatively to like, I guess the closest comparison I can find right now is a bag clip that came out in 2019. And if you look at the differences, dude.
It's like night and day, yeah.
I mean, come on. What would you rather have?
Mr. Eyeballs.
See, now you're making the good choices. You should have done that earlier with our burgers.
Because yours was so much better.
I can't believe you said that, and neither can he. You have the two figures down here. You guys can see on the back side of this one, it is just literally a container that holds like some dumb stickers or something like that. Yeah, I mean, the only detailed part is this right here, and it's pretty much just a projected image onto it. When you compare it to this, he's got his shoes sculpted, it's got his nose sculpted, his hands, and a pop-out eye feature. Like this would probably be like $5 at Five Below nowadays. So the fact is, you are getting way better quality just looking back in 2006. Pretty soon, man, kids are gonna go to McDonald's, they're just gonna go home with the NFT. So after that, the restaurant goes into chaos, and of course, SpongeBob starts shooting mustard and ketchup everywhere like a crazy man. And then Mr. Krabs turns on the fan and it smacks Plankton and hits the formula into the air, and SpongeBob decides to catch it in his mouth and actually swallow it. Then after that, Plankton decides he's gonna have to try to escape because of the fact he didn't get the formula, because, you know, I mean, he's had an escape plan many times before we've seen that has worked quite well.
I don't think that was working out for him.
It probably worked out for the painter. The man left bloodstains on his building. But he tries to escape and the jetpack ends up just shooting him through the floor. And that's when SpongeBob asked the question, why does Plankton hate us so? Why does Plankton hate us so much? Why is he always trying to steal the formula? You would think after all of these years, we're on episode 86, season 5, you would have thought that he had already probably explained that to him, but no. Mr. Krabs tells you the story about how Plankton wasn't always like that. And it takes us back in time from Mr. Krabs' perspective. perspective. Okay, so we're gonna open up our next one here, but now we're back in time with Mr. Krabs' perspective on the story. So it starts off showing you that Mr. Krabs and Plankton were the best of friends. Literally, they were the only two kids that would hang out with the other one, you know? So
Reminds me of something.
that was me and Mitchell in middle school. Like, the only people that would hang out with each other was me and Mitchell. So therefore, Plankton and Mr. Krabs, they were great friends. Plankton was always being bullied because he was kind of a science nerd and he was really small. And Mr. Krabs, I mean, go figure, he was being made fun of for being poor and not having a lot of money or having clothes to wear compared to the other kids. But I think this figure is perfect to open up because it has Mr. Krabs and Plankton on it right here. And I think the only one really that references the episode directly. So you have Patrick and SpongeBob right here, some very early, you know, classic images. You have the classic SpongeBob logo, which like literally was clinging to dear life at this point because you can still see the SpongeBob classic logo here. And I think like literally a year or two after that is when they updated it. So this is like the last little, hanging on the hook, the last little pieces left of the original SpongeBob logo. But they didn't even commit to making it fully part of the design. It's just a picture that comes with it.
Oh, okay.
And this is really cool to see them on the beach. But one thing I noticed in the episode is Mr. Krabs and Plankton both go to Poseidon Elementary.
Yeah, it's like super interesting. And
Yes, because if you guys don't know, Poseidon is actually the main villain for the Sponge on the Run film. And he is like a whole different deity, separate from Neptune, separate from Trident. He is like his own thing. And we've only heard of him mentioned a couple times in the series, but he was big enough for him to have an elementary school named after him. And that's like an Easter egg for a movie that didn't come out for almost like a decade later. So that's a really, really cool reference that I love. But after that point in the episode, we actually get to see Mr. Krabs' home life, which for me, that's super interesting. And that's why I want to break down these episodes, because I think I have a different perspective from most people, being a huge fan of the show for many years and diving into the lore of the books, comics, and also the merchandise. I definitely don't know everything, but I know a lot. And I think one thing that's super interesting to me is that they show Mr. Krabs' original life and what he grew up like. But in these shots, you can see Mr. Krabs' original house growing up. This is like an old, what, rusty shack?
yeah, a little tetanus mansion. So.
Yeah, the mansion of tetanus. It did not look safe. But we have seen Mr. Krabs' mom house from, you hopefully didn't miss it, but the Fanty Raid. And we see that her house is just like an Anchor, just like Mr. Krabs, actually a little bit nicer. So if we were to take everything for what we know it, Mr. Krabs' mom probably didn't have some kind of crazy wealth all of a sudden because she was already old there. I think Mr. Krabs, as greedy as he may have been, might have actually bought his mom that house.
That's super interesting to think about, yeah.
'Cause he
I would
starts-
assume so, because they both got anchors, right? So.
Yeah, they both have anchors. Maybe he got it at a discount, you know, Mr. Krabs.
Double the anchors.
2 anchors for 1. Of course I got your house, mother. You never really know, but for me, of course we're filling in some blanks there, but that's what I like to believe because it makes no sense that she would randomly have such a nicer house when the only thing in her life would have changed would be Eugene having, you know, acquired some kind of wealth. And also, we see the Old Man Jenkins, the first one ever. Here is on screen all of the Old Man Jenkins. Since that was the first Old Man Jenkins, what if all of the other Old Man Jenkins were like, you know, our age or maybe a little older, like midlife? I mean, maybe not midlife, but
Speak for yourself. My knees say otherwise.
but what if those Old Man Jenkins are only this Old Man Jenkins' sons?
That'd be such a crazy lineup. Just
So that's why there's all these Old Man Jenkins, because they'd have the same last name. So that's just my little fact on Old Man Jenkins. Okay, and our next item right here for the friend or foe, let's pop it open. I love these 2000 vibes on the wallet, dude. It almost reminds me of Scooby-Doo for some
yeah,
reason.
it does. It has like the, I guess it would just be groovy would be the word.
Groovy, yeah, that's a good point. It's a wallet.
Oh.
So in here, you have a picture that also comes where you can write down a SpongeBob's name, email, a phone number, and also a house phone, because back in the day, people had both. And then we have a couple different ones. Oh, and I love that they actually went out of their way to add different characters. They easily could have just put one of these in there. We got SpongeBob, Plankton, and Mr. Krabs, but these two make perfect sense being here because next up in the episode, we actually get to see Mr. Krabs at the fair or at the Goo Lagoon, or maybe even like an early version of Glove World. And he finds his first ever penny, and we get to find and see Mr. Krabs' first moment of enjoying his love of money. He is enamored by money, but what I think is so sweet and so thoughtful is he spins his first penny ever on a balloon, dude.
And it's for Plankton, so.
So I'm glad they put a wallet in here because that's really referential. And you even see over here on this side, you have Mr. Krabs with the loads of cash over here, which you actually can see on the side of our arcade machine in here right now. And then you've got Plankton as well. And he's on that arcade machine too, but he's actually on the back right corner of the machine doing this like a mischievous grin. So that is really cool. They put those in there. And then after Mr. Krabs buys Plankton a balloon, and how did he get that balloon for a penny? Maybe it was free balloon day and they just robbed him. Either way though, he got his first penny, and that takes you back to the Krusty Krab, and SpongeBob returns the formula to Mr. Krabs.
Disgustingly.
Disgustingly. It took a very atomic route to get back, but nonetheless, SpongeBob returned it. Okay, guys, so it's the next day, actually. We're continuing on this video. You guys can maybe hear it. I'm a little bit under the weather, so if you guys can smack the like button, I would greatly appreciate that, because we're getting this done either way, and I'm having a lot of fun with it, too, and I want to complete this whole set. I've already got orders in for some of the new sets that we're going to be opening up for this series, but the next item we're going to open up right here, it looks like it's some kind of gamepad. We got Truth or Dare. So let's go ahead and pop this guy open. It's super cute. It's got the bubble pattern all over it. I gotta say I like it, but I'm not really sure if it works. Let's go ahead and pull out the battery tab and check it out. What are you calling? Yes?
I'm gonna say yeah.
I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna say no. Damn it, Mitchell. You gave me confidence that I should have believed in. Well, since it doesn't work, Truth or Dare?
Truth.
Truth. Okay, have you wet yourself? Anyway, number 1, number 2, hey, number 3, I'm not judging.
No, never.
That's a lie.
Not since I was like 3.
Okay, well, there's a truth then. You did it when you were 3 and also when you were...
Everyone did it 3 or 2.
Not me.
He said I never go ever.
I never even had a diaper. I was 1 month old and I would swim in the toilet and just let it go.
That's disgusting.
Well, yeah, I feel disgusting, so, you know, it's okay.
Truth or Dare?
Oh, for me?
Yeah, for you.
Okay. I'm gonna live like Larry. I'm gonna go with Dare.
Dare you to eat this piece of plastic.
You dare me to eat it?
You have a problem.
Yeah. But you know what I don't have a problem with? Winning at Truth or Dare.
Why don't you back off, Mr. Under the Weather? I don't need that.
So after that, some of the Krusty Krab workers end up asking Mr. Krabs, like, you know, if they were the best of friends, what ended up happening? And it takes us to the first and only burger restaurant in Bikini Bottom at the time, and that is Stinky Burger. I have at least 3 Stinky Burgers around here.
And what would those be?
Name withheld.
Just bleep that, right? I feel bad. But any burger place that begins with a Mike, a George, a Bob, maybe not Bob's Burgers, you know, but even he might say his quality is hit or miss. But a lot of those places, they may not look the best, damn, do they got good burgers.
Because we all know those restaurants, they don't look good, but their food, oh man, it's so good.
It's true. Some of the worst looking restaurants have the best food. And if you get food poisoning or not, I mean, at least it tasted good. Stinky's restaurant looks pretty worn down, but he does have the fandom, like you'd say, of the local kids in Bikini Bottom. He wants to keep that. And Mr. Krabs and Plankton definitely weren't the most popular amongst that group. So Stinky actually kind of treats them poorly, unfortunately. Honestly, the downright disrespectful. So he tells them they can't even eat there. So they go around the back of the restaurant and they start talking to Stinky from the back door. And he tells them about how he just can't serve them because he doesn't want them to ruin his respectable business. And Stinky makes it seem like he's barely making it by with this restaurant. Then you see a limo pull up and Stinky gets in it with a fat stack of cash. So of course that makes Ragboy, aka Mr. Krabs, extremely excited. And Plankton's impressed at the power and the respect that he has amongst the other kids. So they both see something they both want really badly. And that's what kind of starts them to create their own recipe, just like Stinky's, and to get the same respect and fat stack of cash. Okay, so our next figure up here, let's check it out. I love this awesome, like, I guess it's Jellyfish Fields type of patterning on it, because you can see the jellyfish here, you can see some coral, and you have the awesome SpongeBob logo here. And I think this is supposed to be like a tic-tac-toe, but you got the green there, you can level it all out green. Oh my lord.
I think he's doing the thing.
Ah! He made me laugh so hard.
He made you laugh so hard, you almost died.
I just didn't expect that. He made me lose my breath. All right, Mitch, we're gonna play a little tic-tac. What is it called, tic-tac?
Tic-tac-toe.
You can have a tic-tac if you want, but you ain't touching my toes. Unless you want to.
I'm gonna have to hard pass on that.
All right, your turn, go for it. Oh,
Trying to figure
beginner's mistake. So once you do a drastically incorrect decision like this, you know what I'm gonna do? Check this.
Oh, dang.
Double thing. You might have thought you made some kind of move there, but now watch this. I'm gonna hit you with the ho-ta-ta. Yeah. Oh no, secondary beginners.
Well, now what are you gonna do? I win either way, so.
No.
He's really the loser here.
No, the thing is here is watch this. This is called a double stroke down. See that? That's called the double stroke down. You do it in one smooth move. All right, Mitchell won. But we're never gonna see that.
Yeah.
No. I
Didn't win
to be
either.
determined. Okay, yeah, we already know this is the channel where I lose everything, okay? I collect everything, try to make the world's biggest SpongeBob collection, and I lose to my friends at every game I try to play. Okay, yes, okay, we know this. Anyway, so then after that, Mr. Krabs and them decide they're gonna start their own restaurant and then go to the Stinky Burgers just to find out Stinky's has been closed because of the health inspector. But this is just one perspective on what's going on at this point. Then in Mr. Krabs' mind or in reality, they start getting all of these customers in, all the kids that used to belittle them, make them feel like absolute rag boy. And we see Mr. Krabs get his first dollar ever, and you get to see it go into the frame that you see in the iconic episode with SpongeBob and Patrick trying to paint Mr. Krabs' house. Whether it's real or not in this particular scene, they did still put it in the actual same frame. I just thought that I'd note that as a cool little feature. But again, who's to say whether this is the correct perspective or not, but we did get to see Mr. Krabs' first dollar. Our next friend or foe piece right here. Ooh, it's got Mr. Krabs and Plankton on here. I love the theming there. You could write the name, address, phone, email, because you had that at the time, and also other info that you might want to put, like their favorite meal on a sick day. Chicken noodle soup.
Hell is chicken.
Chicken noodle soup. It's it's spicy chicken noodle soup. Ignore my voice today. But you guys can see it's kind of got a little two-faced design here. It's going between Patrick and SpongeBob, but this is actually something you put on your luggage, you can put on your backpack, anything like that, just so people know who it is. But also, like, if I had this in my backpack, I don't think you'd have to read the name to know whose it is.
It's true, yeah.
I actually might put this in my backpack because now I have two of these. I am gonna put one of these for sure on my bag. This is just too cool and definitely has like a Y2K type of vibe, even though it's 2006. And so then Mr. Krabs supposedly sees Plankton starting to become evil at the success of their quote unquote restaurant and their first couple dollars they made. And he starts to see Plankton kind of going crazy. He thinks that, oh, I've controlled their stomach, so now I can control their mind and I can start to take over Bikini Bottom. Which taking over the mind is also an interesting reference because we know in this SpongeBob movie quite literally did that. But we're not gonna talk too long about Plan Z. After that, Mr. Krabs and Plankton get in an argument. They end up ripping the formula, and supposedly Plankton ejects Mr. Krabs from the restaurant, as you guys may have seen in the intro, with his part of the formula. And he says that Plankton regretted it forever, and you know, he surely did, based off of smack, 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 smack. But then we get Plankton, who's hiding in the salt somehow this whole time, and tells us it's lies. All right, next up we have these. It looks like a card set here. We've got SpongeBob, Plankton, Patrick, and of course Mr. Krabs there. Let's open up the cards. Ooh, I like the card shapes. Those are oh, dude, it's got the holes too.
Oh, that's super cool.
It's got the SpongeBob's orifice holes, which is
That was not cool.
what, orifice holes?
This sounds wrong.
Haven't you heard the intro? Orifice is he.
No, it's porous.
His orifice is he. But we got a lot of Mr. Krabs. I'm just looking for the Squidward card. I'm not even gonna lie. Do they have a Squidward? We got Plankton in here, multiple Planktons. SpongeBob. Okay, so it is only the characters that are on the front there, but it is cool because you don't get to see this many displayed images for Mr. Krabs usually. But you're basically, if you look through all of these cards, this is every like vintage SpongeBob pre-2003 image of Mr. Krabs you'll ever see. I have to say these are so cute because you could even like get strings or something, or even just like use these to detail or design a room, you know?
Yeah, they're super cool looking too.
Like you could even just like put these all over a desk and then put like resin over it and you'd have a pretty awesome looking desk. I just love this many SpongeBob images, and also the holes definitely adds to it. But after this, we end up seeing Plankton's perspective, which is similar to Mr. Krabs, but the main difference being the end conclusion where Plankton sees Mr. Krabs as being the one that kind of goes crazy and starts wanting to control people's wallets. But he goes on a whole rant and Plankton apparently says, what about the customer? And of course, Mr. Krabs gives him his 2 cents on what he thinks about the customer. And then they have their same squabble and Mr. Krabs ends up taking a piece and Plankton takes a piece. But apparently, after getting launched from the restaurant, Plankton only got the piece that said, add a pinch of chum. So that would explain why his restaurant is called the Chum Bucket. And you would think that it ends there. And honestly, Plankton's story to me sounds more plausible than Mr. Krabs' story.
Yeah.
Because especially that part at the end with the pinch of chum, I could totally see that being more real than Mr. Krabs. But neither of their stories is the truth because then Karen comes in and we find out that somehow she was a security camera back in the day and she recorded the entire thing. Go figure. Okay, and our next one here is really cool. We got Patrick looking out down there. I love that vintage vintage sculpt of Patrick, and also SpongeBob looking adorable with his hands hanging over the little ledge of the pin. So it looks like they're just traditional pins. I don't know if they still work today. Okay, the pins don't work. Maybe Patrick does.
I don't think that's gonna fix it.
It's better for the taste. Yeah, you know what it tastes? It tastes like a battery.
I don't think that's a good thing to be putting your tongue on.
You ever put your tongue on the tip of a battery and it tastes like so sour?
That's because it's shocking you.
Yeah, and then your teeth start to jitter. You probably shouldn't be doing that. But yeah, it does taste like a battery, in case you wondered. But we have the two pins here. If you see on the side here, it actually has these different letters and numbers that move, right?
Yeah.
You could write down a code. So let's just say Ryan will put it up on screen right now. For example, 7117. So then you look down here, you look at the numbers and you look for 7. So we found 7. You look down and you see that is a letter P. So P, and then you go and find that 1. We find out that is an O. So we had 1, 1, so that's O. And then our last letter was a 7 as well. So that would be P. So that gives us our grand code. People order our patties. So, I mean, that's kind of cool, right?
Yeah, it's really sick too. It's like, okay, now I can just have this secret message with my friend that no one else will understand. Yeah, it's like,
yeah, like I've already given my opinion. I think my favorite so far is this, and I just love as a collector the form factor of this.
yeah, that one's really cool too. I like the pins as well.
Yeah, the pins are the most unique so far though. All of these are awesome, and if you compare them to modern toys, leagues upon them. But I gotta say, these encoder pins are awesome. And you guys know I'm gonna be putting these in the display in one of our pencil holders now that we have these available. But after that, we get to hear Karen's version of the story. Then you find out pretty much a majority of it was fake. They never had any customers. Mr. Krabs never made his first dollar. They didn't make a burger, and they tried to give their first burger to a man that was like family, Mr. Krabs, the original Old Man Jenkins. And this happens.
Yeah! Crab patties KO Old Man J.
But after they kill Old Man Jenkins, Mr. Krabs and Plankton go back to the restaurant. They start to have a little squabble over how they should do the recipe and whose recipe it should be in the first place. They rip the recipe. That's the one part of the story that stays true pretty much, except for nobody gets ejected, nobody gets launched out of the restaurant. Plankton leaves the door, and as he's slamming it, simple as that, the shell falls into the meat, and Mr. Krabs tastes it and finds out that that is the Krabby Patty recipe. How was he able to decode that stuff on that shelf and what it was that went in there exactly and how much of it? I don't know. We'll never know. But somehow he did it. And then Mr. Krabs and Plankton go back to their school and they bring their own carts, and we see a very familiar looking cart that Mr. Krabs is pushing to the school. And our next figure we've got here, let's check it out. This one's really, I love the display factor of it. Dude, his arms are so long. Kind of freaking me out. He's like some kind of gremlin. But I think what it's for though is you put it on this base here, and then you've got these picture images here that you can actually put into his hand. All right, so we have the two pictures right here in the middle, but the last picture I'm gonna put in the middle here. We could also, I have a Polaroid camera. We could always add pictures in the collection into this too, but the center picture is most important. So Ryan, give me some build-up music here. Oh, yes. Why wouldn't it be Squidward doing the thing? So we have Squidward doing the thing now on display here.
Incredible.
So we have a new Squidward doing the thing picture frame to add to the collection. We now have this one, which of course has to go on display somewhere in here, even if it just has the picture of Squidward in the image. But after this, you get to see Mr. Krabs and Plankton go head to head at their school. People try Plankton's burgers and it does not go well. As one fish said in Spongicus, "Oh my God, that's foul." And then they try Mr. Krabs, and everybody is in love with it because of the fact it has flavor, it's edible, and you can keep it down. Those are the standards of Bikini Bottom. But I feel like that makes everything so much more clear in Bikini Bottom, because when you really think about it, yes, the Krusty Krab is known for their famous burger, but if you consider that before the Krusty Krab, the only burger they had, period, was Stinkies, maybe the recipe is not a question of how good it is, but it's a societal question on generalized communal standards. This is deep.
You don't think there's another burger shop anywhere?
I mean, there's a Chum Bucket. There's not another burger shop there.
That's interesting. Yeah.
There's been other burger shops that popped up, but we get to see that in this episode, before Mr. Krabs for sure, that was the only burger place with Stinkies. And then it closed.
Crazy.
So I'm saying if you had those kind of standards, maybe...
Hey, this is our only place for a burger.
Yeah, maybe an edible burger is a secret recipe. I think that adds some believability to the fact of the Krusty Krab recipe being so special, because in their world... there's not a lot of good food really there in the first place. You guys let me know your opinion of this episode. I think we should finish this off with a rating. We are gonna scan everything we picked up today in this opening. I hope you guys had fun with this little mixture. I kind of wanted to kind of fuse two different type of videos, a review type video and also a toy opening, put them together and make an awesome full-length video for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Adding the clips and trying to make it involving as possible was the goal. So I hope we accomplished that. But after we scan it, we're gonna give you our reviews on Friend or Foe as an episode on a ranking tier on screen here. So we're ranking the episode and this particular toy line promotion that they released for it. So I'm gonna say for the show, I am going to give it an A ranking. I'm gonna give it an A ranking just because of the fact of, I feel like this is our first episode in this series and there could be ups and downs as we go through this. So I wanna give some wiggle room there, but not just that. This is one of the few episodes where they really dive into the lore of the show and it's actually like concrete canon. A lot of times in SpongeBob, they rewrite a lot of things within the show and debatably, even this was rewritten in some ways. So when you're talking about canon, SpongeBob, it's just everything hits the fan and it's scattered, but it's really nice to be able to see the starting point of literally probably the greatest rival in the late 90s and 2000s history. That's like the Batman and the Joker of the Y2K generation is Plankton and Mr. Krabs, you know?
It's always been that feud, yeah.
Yeah, like to be able to see that grand feud that literally is a huge part of the show. As Plankton said himself, I've almost got that formula 1,001 times by now. It's such a huge trope to the show, so to be able to get the history on that makes it probably one of the most key episodes as a fan to watch. So I'm going A ranking. That's the ranking on screen. This is our first one on this chart. We're gonna keep adding more of these meal toys. We try to break down all of them. The next ones I'm thinking about doing is for the big one. I think that'd be a very fun one that I've never even opened before. But before we do that, we also have another chart, which is for the toy sets themselves. And what are you thinking for the toy set itself?
Honestly, like, compared to some other ones, I'm honestly gonna give this one an S, because there's like, you can do so many things with it. Like, you can change this photo out. The decoder pins are really sick. This, you know, obviously we talked about it, the Polaroid. The Magic 8-Ball thing is really cool.
Yeah, it's a form for me on this
I really
guy.
like the wallet. At least this is something you can do. Like, it kind of sucks the batteries are dead, but that's also kind of cool.
Yeah, I think on this episode, this is where we're breaking our decisions. I'm gonna give this, it's still up there. I'm gonna give it an A tier.
They're very unique, to say the least.
They're really unique. The only reason I'm gonna give it an A tier versus an S tier for me is I feel like there is a lot of like photo stuff. Like this is like, okay, a little tag for your backpack. This is a frame. This is a frame. So like you don't have, I guess it's 5 for 5. I mean, it's kind of not too bad, but not all of them are toys. Like a lot of them are kind of like, 2 of these are the same thing. And I feel like this is very like, I guess maybe school useful.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because you're gonna see as we get on, we have sets like freaking Lost in Time up there. Like that's S tier all day. Like we haven't even opened that set yet, but it is S tier for months. So I think that we have a little bit more room to work with. So I'm gonna go with A tier for right now.
You can get a little A+ then.
Yeah, a little A+. But that is actually it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, make sure you guys smack that like button, subscribe if you're new here. This is the first episode of this series, so the second episode will probably be a little bit more refined as we're starting to get more and more used to doing this series. So make sure you guys let us know in the comments down below how you liked it. That'll definitely make a huge difference as to whether we continue this series or not. So make sure you let me know. And like I said, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. You guys are not gonna miss some of the videos that are coming up very, very soon here. Absolutely insane stuff coming that I can't wait to share with you. So check that out. So make sure you're subscribed and check out this video on your screen right here, which is the last epic video on this channel. And I know you're gonna enjoy that one too. And in fact, I'll see you guys over there. And as always, Rep Pack, I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Adios.